Hey, welcome to the Kairos Network training app. My name is Matt Peeples. I'm the founder and director of the Kairos Network, and I'm one of the trainers that you're going to see popping up on this app along with other people. And so what I wanted to do is just give you a 30,000-foot overview of the Kairos Network training. The Kairos Network training is designed so that you can find everything you need right here in the Kairos Network mobile app or website. The reason we did that is we wanted you to have all the resources you needed right in front of you. But the Kairos Network is not all about the resources. It's also about the relationships and applying what you've learned to the context you're in. See, the way that we do the Kairos Network is a transformational learning style. And so a transformational learning style that we're going with is in this 10-20-70 model. The 10-20-70 model looks like this. You've got 10% of book learning, videos, and other resources that you're going to use to dig into concepts about church planting and doing ministry in a context. 20% time is the one-on-one mentorship between you and a coach. So the Kairos Network app was always designed to be used with a trainer or a coach. So you have people that are learning to plant and you have people that have planted, and we're bringing those two things together so that you can learn from people that have actually done it before. And then finally, the 70%. The 70% is just flat out doing. You're going to take the things that you've learned in your 10% time, the mentoring and coaching that you've gotten in your 20% time, and you're going to apply those concepts in the 70% of time that's left. So the goal is you're not simply learning to learn a concept, but you're learning to apply that concept in the real world and to your process of planting. Now, the way that the Kairos Network works with that 10-20-70 model is we go with why principles, which we'll talk about later in the training. But the why principles are built around a leadership pipeline model. And so the leadership pipeline that you see over here is essentially a pipeline of skills that are why principles, which means they're principles that are just first article principles. They're inherent to just doing the work of church planting. So whether you plant in a large launch model, a missional community model, whether you're planting overseas or you're planting here in the United States, wherever you're planting, these are just skills that are common to all planters in all places. And so what we've done is we've built those skills out through core competencies and built out pipeline levels. So this intentional training process has a process that you walk through. Each skill you're going to learn builds on the other skill, and each skill is designed not to be left where it's at, but to be utilized throughout the entire training. And so what we've done is a leadership pipeline. You are in the onboarding process, or you've probably already been assessed as a church planter, and you're somebody that's sitting down to start training. So you begin in the pre-planter phase, and we deal with all the things you need as a pre-planter. Then you move into planter and training, where you're starting to look at how you're getting into your context and planting. Then you step into the area of church planter, where you're actually planted your church and you're living out the week-to-week grind of ministry in a new church plant. And then finally, you go up to trainer. So we're hoping that as you walk through these pipeline levels, you won't just simply walk through them and use them to plant your own church, but one day you could actually be training somebody to do the same thing, whether it's in your own church or network setting. So we're hoping that these resources are a help. You can kind of look through some of the different resources on the app, but the idea is this. You start at the beginning, and each time you gather a competency, you only move forward after that competency is done, and your coach or trainer will help you with that process. As you're utilizing the mobile app, what you'll find is you'll find a list of resources you need. That's in the books and resources. You can get the resources as you need them, or you could get them all right away. Whatever you want to do is best. We've used Amazon links so you can get them on e-readers, or you can order paper copies, as well as some of the audio books. And then also throughout the training, you're going to find each training is broken down into 4 specific areas. There's the overview, which is going to give you an overview of the whole training and core competency. Then there's the explore section where you're looking at resources, the experience section where you're actually out there applying some of those skills, the coaching section where you're sitting down with your coach or mentor, and then finally the section where you're going to then train others or share those resources. Each competency also has one last section called additional resources. And the reason we have the additional resources section is really simple. There are so many things in each of these competencies that we would love to add, but we wanted to keep the training simple. We wanted to give you the bare bones of what you needed to go through each competency, but that doesn't mean that's all there is to be said on each and every topic. And so as we find new resources that are helpful to us in our ministries or trainings, or different trainers come up with resources, we'll add those things to the additional resources. So you have other areas that you can dig into, especially if a certain competency is something that you're very interested in, you want to learn more about it, or it's just something that's really relevant to where you're at in your planting process. So my prayer for you is that this training is a help to you in the planting experience, but realize that God's in the midst of it. So we'll be in prayer for you, your coach will be in prayer for you, and we're excited that you're joining us for this Kairos Network training process.